Hi everybody, I'm here in a casino. Now normally I wouldn't condone extreme gambling, but I may or may not have gotten a bunch of money from a check I worked very hard to get. So while I was here building up the courage to do all or nothing, I was thinking, hey, there's a ton of silly games out there that have cards and sometimes money involved, so let's talk about one. Uno, you know what an Uno is. It's been around for over 50 years. It's been played millions of times, and it's got some screwed up rules. I think Uno specifically is in this odd spot where nobody actually knows how to play it. Really, instead, it's based on what you feel like doing. Hell, I would even say the classic and supposedly official edition is a weird version. Like, you're supposed to have each player draw a card, and whoever has the highest number is supposed to deal. But then also, you're supposed to play it like you get more points based on how many cards everybody else has when you win a game. A simple game of Uno is supposed to have multiple rounds, but literally nobody cares enough to do that, because that really does, in fact, sound lame and boring and dumb and stupid, and nobody wants to do math when half of the people playing Uno I go against can't even count to 4. Why would I trust them with basic addition? This is really where the first branch off from Uno already begins to take place. People just do whatever they want with the rules, and sometimes it's fine and totally cool, but other times just, ew, no thanks, lame, not good, very bad, crying, dying, don't call me, don't come into my house, we're done. Like my rules, for example, include stacking, +2s and +4s, draw until you play, and you have to play a wilder +4 card if that's the only card you can play. That's it. Perfect elite game, no balance issues, fun stack setups, usually takes too long, amazing for a few rounds, sometimes I'll dabble with 7 or 0 swap decks. But if you're playing this game with like middle schoolers or even just incredibly weak-willed people, you get rules like draw 1 card. This is the most controversial rule in Uno in my opinion. It sucks, and I promise you, any and all games are significantly less fun with it. It's like a bad relationship, just let it go. The rule stuff extends further when you start considering other versions. At the time of speaking the words coming out of my mouth right now, there's 637 versions of the game that you can try, and that number is technically multiplied when you add the rule change. But we're not gonna, so get that out of here. No, when looking at the special editions, they'll have at minimum a few cards and at most entire decks worth of exclusive stuff. But generally, official Uno sequels or spin-offs will have at least one sort of dumb mechanic. And also, I started to realize how flawed Uno as a whole is when we take a look at Ghost, for example. This game sucks. I hate it, I highly discourage it. Instead of punishing your pals with an unholy amount of cards, you need to match cards in order to get the most amount of points. And as brought up from before, the reliance on a point system in Uno is quite literally fatherless behavior. Why would you do that to yourself? In fact, the higher the number gets, the further we stray from the Uno gods. Look at Quattro. That doesn't even have cards anymore. With what's gonna happen when we get to Uno 12, Uno Doce? At that point, it might just be 3-on-3 suburban basketball. Instead, play Uno Jenga or something. Uno Stacko is a result of crossbreeding. It's just Jenga, but you have to pull certain colors, and some blocks make the next person pull extra blocks. But again, for no reason, in like every single Uno game, there's at least one objectively stupid rule. The last person to pull a block without the tower falling over is the winner. And I understand that's a Jenga rule, but again, be for realsies. Look at me dead in the eyes and tell me this is a good rule. This is a game where it's typically more competitively viable to sit between toddlers to increase your likelihood of winning. Your game has considerable flaws in its fundamentals. So then what happens when there's no toddlers in your local daycare? Like at Uno Dare, of course. There's 2 versions of this one, the kids one and the not kids one. I'll be honest and say I'll never play the kids version because all these dares sound a little lame. Like, I'm sure that's a hot take, but also the adult ones have spill-proof cards, which is perfect until you read the dares. And these dares are as better as they are worse. I blocked off some of the words, so you'll have to rely on your imagination. I don't want to even repeat what this card says. I have standards. But those standards kind of die off after a few minutes because of show 'em no mercy. I like this one. The cards are pretty hefty in their punishments. I like that. However, this is a battle royale. If you get 25 or more cards, you're out of the game. And I'm mixed on this rule. You can either ignore it or deal with it. And shabam, another good Uno with good cards. And when it comes to the cards, these are by far the most tweaked things. Now we got things like Uno Attack and Uno Blockus. I don't even know what Uno Blockus Shuffle is. Uno cards can be so much better. Uno Flip and Flex cards, for example, just add small but fun tweaks. My favorite card in the game is the Custom Wild. Just write whatever the hell you want on them. I love this one because it really is just reliant on the creativity of the players. I saw Facebook moms going, oh gee willikers, how mischievous would it be if everyone had to draw 2 cards? That would be so insane. Oh, extra size? I thought you said extra fries. No! I have used this card, and boy oh boy, let me tell you, I've seen some shit. We got cards here like clip your fingernails or draw 6, ruin your diet or draw 15. My personal favorite that I've come up with, every person has to write a paragraph about any subject the player of the card's choice within a minute. Whoever wrote the worst one has to swap their current hand with the deck. You know, you can do whatever you want, it's script. And again, this can go totally further when you consider the collaborations, because it isn't a board game until you can put Dora in it. A lot of the time, Uno collabs are done just because they can be done. Who asked for an Uno game based on Disney's planes, based on Pixar's cars? Apparently there's a market, because there's 3 of these guys. Now, not every collab has some unique cards, but a substantial amount of them do. Some even have parts connected to itself. Like the Mario Kart one, for example, has a dice. Blockus has Blockus Shuffle again, that's Blockus. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End 2007 edition has a skull. You can even eat an Uno. The winner gets chocolate. There's an expiration date to this one game of Uno. As a whole, I would say there's 4 special card types, and these connect to the original games as well. There's the enhancers that simply add new ways of adding cards, basically all the ones where the game has like tiny changes like the Lion King Circle of Life. Everyone has to move 1 card to their left, and there's one in Cars 3 where you pick a player and shuffle their cards and split them evenly with you. I like this Ghostbuster Crossing Streams one. You gotta make everyone draw and play the same colors or draw more. Not much to add there, it's nifty enough. Then we got the vocal cards, basically the same as saying Uno, but instead something else, or even nothing at all. The Encanto version has a We Don't Talk card, and that's about what you would expect. You can't talk until you get an Uno. On the opposite end, the Harry Potter edition has a Howler card, where you have to scream every card in your hand. And this is funnier the worse you are doing. If you have like 40 cards, I'm so sorry. Next, we got the haha silly funny random ones. They're about what they sound like. Kevin's Famous Chili is a card where you have to clumsily drop your hand and everyone else has to do it, and the last person to do it draws 2. This feels like you could very easily cheat and like get rid of cards. I would not be shocked. There's also non-Parmesan Uno here. This is meant to be exactly what it sounds like. There's no red or blue cards, but there is a veto card that prohibits anyone from being political in any capacity during Uno. That's kind of cute. Also, Left Hand Edition, and the BTS version where you have to act out a BTS dance number. The fact that being a fan of BTS makes you better at anything kind of upsets me, but then there's Hell. I think Hell cards are the best. Call me a sociopath all you want, but I think the magic behind Uno lies behind making your friends suffer for an extended period, and then utilizing those lovable house rules to amplify the funny funnies. Like that one-time achievement hunter had a 37-long game. That's awesome. I want to hold my friends socially hostage, just like, look at those smiles. Maybe I don't even want to play Uno. Maybe I just want to play a game that barely counts as a game of Uno. That's where the superhero editions show up. Basically, it's still Uno, but you have to pick a hero. There's certain benefits and skills each character has, and yes, there is competitive viability in this version of Uno. At that point, you just gotta question if it's even counting as Uno. But I guess that just kind of comes with the game. What can I say? No 2 games are gonna be the same. The iterations available have just enough complexity where you can add whatever rules you want, and it genuinely works as an effective little trinket of gunk and nightmares and ruined friendships if you really want to be that guy, I guess. I'm so sorry, it's like 3 a.m. recording this. I'm so dehydrated. And here is where I want to tell you all about a very special, unofficial version of Uno I found that I think is worth talking about. That being the Uno Amalgam by Massacre's Mansion. It started up a couple months ago and is still in development. Basically what this version exists to do is combine every single version of Uno with unique mechanics into one giant soup of nightmares. Every version I have talked about is going to be represented in some capacity, and already this is looking kinda nuts. At this point, it quite literally is just a man-made horror beyond card game comprehension. Going through these videos and seeing what to expect with what we've already seen has been added to the game is pretty insane. Those stupid superhero ones alone significantly increase the amount of cards we're gonna expect. This is Uno Ultimate. It is inevitably nearing, and it is going to decimate the poor people who are gonna be new to the game. You're quite literally gonna have to pre-game and study the rules before playing, because already at this version, there's about 100 editions represented. And when this game releases, it's gonna be called Chemicards, and it's gonna be like its own thing. This isn't sponsored or anything. I just think like this is cool. You know, I just wanted to throw it out there. Seriously, check these videos out if you want want to get an idea. It's going to be hefty, but probably fun. So to Massacre, I hope you're seeing this. I want to recommend the last versions I'm talking about today, namely the special editions on Ubisoft's online Uno. In my opinion, this is the best Uno, mainly because of accessibility, but Ubisoft has a bunch of their own franchises, each with their unique cards. I won't lie though, the only ones I really cared about were Rayman Edition, which is okay enough, but then there's Rabbids Uno. And Rabbids Uno is funny, just because these little hell spawns will pop out all the time and just harass your game as much as possible. There's a card where the next person to draw has to draw an extra 3. There's one where 10 cards are randomly distributed. There's a get out of jail free card. And then there's the funny little freak that runs around the table and gives everyone 3 seconds to play. It also screams at each respective player. This would have made me cry if I was younger. And now I expect a fully 1-for-1 recreation of this card in the Amalgam. Good luck, have fun with my sleep paralysis demon. This one may or may not suck. I don't know, you might just skip it. If you do though, that's lame and stupid and uncool, so don't do that. Well, this is taking too long. I'm just gonna gamble all this money for here, double or nothing. Here we go! You actual fool, you really thought I was going to gamble all of that money when I explicitly said 10 minutes ago, I don't condone gambling. No, I have influence, and I need to say now, never, ever, ever, ever gamble any money. More often than not, it's going to create more problems than solutions, so don't get stuck in that mindset. Unless you absolutely 100% know for sure that you're going to win the next one, then do it. You'll win a lot of money.